Good morning, President Hakainde Hichilema. Good morning, President Ramaphosa. Good morning, Ibrahim Traoré. Good morning, Donald Trump, former President Obama, former President Zuma, Vice President Nevas Mumba, and the opposition EFF leaders, Julius Malema and Kasonde Mwenda. And I don't want to also to forget about Duma Boko, the president of Botswana, that has come out openly to demonstrate that you can become a partner with Ibrahim Traoré without carrying a gun, but carrying your word of mouth and your position as president. That is what it can be my prayer to Hakainde Hichilema. I want to say, yesterday I talked about Satanism. I talked about Freemason. I talked about the mark of the beast as one thing, but in different categories, but one aim of worshiping Satan. I want to say today, Emmanuel Mamba is one of the person I talked to when I was trying to rescue second Republican president. And I believe now he understands who I am. And I would wish that if Hakainde Hichilema can talk to him, he can explain that I'm not partisan. I don't support anyone. I speak to someone when God tells me to do so. I declare God's will in people's lives, and more especially those in power and those who intend to do what? To hold power. I'll play the audio that I just contributed. Someone got the audio for me, and I'm happy that he sent it to me. The half of the speech that I gave in solidarity to Kasonde Mwenda for him standing with an agenda that God revealed in the visions to Kaunda, to Chiluba, to Manawasa, to Rupia Banda, to Michael Sata, to Lungu, and even now to Hakainde Hichilema. The agenda is all in these books. Michael Sata understood the agenda, but only declared to say, I'll rule this country under the 10 Commandments without being anointed. And he died. So I want to emphasize on one thing, which many of you might not see that is very serious. When I say the opposition leaders that are 20 or 21, included with the Chabinga, if I can include the Kasonde Mwenda, I would say 22. My single appeal is, when I was calling for PF to come for anointment, to declare their interest in the will of God, they could not avail themselves. Emmanuel Kasonde availed himself. And if you can take it as a joke or a funny, or Kasonde has nothing that he can give me to support him. Everyone knows who Kasonde is. I don't go for money. He's on the level, on the ground level. All these opposition leaders, those who have been ministers, those who have been MPs or whatsoever, those who are serving in all these major political parties, I see that they are just going there for the sake of proper employment, just politics. But this, what I'm revealing to you, is not politics. Unless you have joined the musician industry, then after singing for a particular few years there and there, then you die. You leave the wealth to your family, but that wealth will be scattered. You see how every leader that have died facing corruption charges, they get their wealth even when they are dead. You see the wealth of everything, every little house Lungu built, it is a list to be taken by government as proceeds of crime. So meaning that as a president, you don't need to buy anything. When you went with one trousers in State House, you must come out with the same trousers. They must even count your trousers. We have seen it in this politics where Chiluba was actually accused of having 400 suits and I don't know how many designer shoes, maybe 100 and something designer suits, as evidence of proceeds of crime. Even when I had warned Chiluba, here is Mamba, who actually received my call for me to make the contribution on his podcast. I thank him. May God bless him. And the way he acknowledged my conversation, I know that he has recognized that the voice that is speaking, indeed, I spoke to Mamba a long time with him, but he closed my door to rescue his key. Is a president or his boss. Today, he did not close my door to talk to Kasonde Mwenda. I thank him for that. I wish him well. I want to say, I beg the opposition to listen to me carefully. Yesterday I was reading the Declaration of Satanism and Freemason, and I classified Hakainde Hichilema to say is in Freemason because he did not denounce it. When it came in public, he did not denounce it. When the vice president was asked, she actually defended it. No, they registered some time back. Even when they come in public, we don't know that they've come in public. What is it all about? She diverted the whole issue, playing ignorance. So what I want to say is that when you do not denounce a wrong thing done in your own house, as the head of the house, you are part of it. The failure for Hakainde Hichilema to denounce Freemason is part of it. The failure for Hakainde Hichilema to prosecute those who are committing homosexuality, it confirms that he is part of it. If Hakainde Hichilema can come publicly and denounce that he doesn't want to see any Freemason activities, even whatever contribution of the class that they did, give them back. Whatever contributions that Freemason have done, return it, because it's actually receiving a gift from Satan himself. And if all those are alleged to be in marriages of homosexuality or lesbianism, they must be arrested. Then he calls for Zambia to be under Ibrahim Traoré. I'll apologize to him. I owe him an apology to say he's not a Satanist, he's not a Freemason, he does not support lesbianism or homosexuality. I owe him an apology if he does those three things. 1, denounce Freemason. 2, denounce homosexuality. 3, announce to say, I've heard God's call. Africa must unite under Ibrahim Traoré. Then I'll apologize to Hakainde Hichilema and declare him to say he's innocent. But failure to do that, I have no apology of saying he's a Freemason. Not because I want to bring him down, because it is written before he became president that there's an agenda for Freemason to rule Zambia. And these things are now seen. I'll read. And those books, Hakainde Hichilema has them. So before I read, I want to say, why is it that I'll apologize? Those who are following Emmanuel Mwamba, they heard me. This is what I said. This is what I said. I just want to play this video. I was actually saying at the time that I made a contribution.
This Freemason is dangerous. I was supposed to die in prison. I was arrested. You should have trespassed at UN. And when I went to make a court to represent myself, they said I'm mentally ill. But God stood for me. I ate poison. They wanted to give me lethal injection. I survived. But now, my major point of calling is that any opposition leader that just wants to go in State House is going to die. Because this is not only physical, it is spiritual. You know, during the other point, opposition leaders, those who trust in unity, in Manga, they cannot fight with the Hakainde Hichilema. They'll be killed. Because the witchcraft association, you know, Bapanga, Ikaramba, Gabadeva, CIA, Gabatri, Nava Security, CIA 200, Nina Shiria, these are what we call witches that are protecting him. So we need a leader that can recognize God. We pray with him. Everything that they are planning, they can be dismantled. That's my word.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Evangelist. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. Good evening. Please tell us your
name. As you have watched and listened to what I said in contribution to Emmanuel Mwamba's podcast, I believe it was a clear warning to opposition leaders. I know everyone wants to be a president, but I wish I had a letter that, okay, it's there on my Facebook. If you scroll on my Facebook where I said PF must be restored, that letter of 2012 that I wrote to Mrs. Sata, Christian Kaseva. So I said in that letter to say, I saw Michael Sata smoking a cigarette. And when he gave it to someone else after seeing me, the person who smoked developed wounds. And this person who wanted, after smoking, wanted to give to another person, then I stopped him. So when I'm stopping opposition leaders to fight for State House race, I'm not doing it because of anything, but I'm doing it because I've been calling. The time when I escaped, I had to go to Zambia to search for a leader. I knocked the PF office to deliver the letter that I want to see Lungu, either the vice president or anyone. I want to anoint a leader that will take over from UPND. no one availed himself. I wrote the open letter that I read, the first letter that I read, which I delivered on the 30th of January. Is it 1st January 2023, where I saved it to confirm, to say God wants to anoint someone that is willing to listen to him. Even Hakainde Hichilema said, if you are not willing to listen to God, you can step down. So today, I just want to explain, to say, when I say God has said this, Emmanuel Mwamba, who was hosting Kasonde Mwenda, he knows what that word means. Because when I told him about his boss, that is, they are going to arrest him, he ordered for my arrest. I was arrested 4 days in Kabilonga cells. 4 days, 4 nights, sleeping in urine and feces. When I came out, I went back. I said, even if I'm arrested, what I saw in the vision, it will happen. So now I want to dialogue with the opposition party. And at the same time, I want to say that there are 3 things that I've mentioned. To say, if Hakainde Hichilema wants me to apologize on there are 3 things that I want to mention. That if Hakainde Hichilema want me to apologize, that is not a Freemason, is not a Satanist, is not promoting homosexuality, and I want him to do one thing after denouncing Freemason, telling the Freemason to get their donations, to stop performing their rituals, to pack and go, and prosecuting those who commit homosexuality. After doing that, he must call for a United States of Africa. And by removing the AFRICOM, because that call for a United Africa under Ibrahim Traoré, as Duma Boka, the president of Botswana, has done, that will call for a proper ordination of his leadership from God. And the reason why I'm saying the opposition leaders, those who are listed as 20 on the Facebook regarding the Tonse or the PF leadership, I'm simply appealing to you to say, if you are listening to me, Kasonde Mwenda party, the EFF, has the actual agenda that can unite Zambia. Better work with him, unite with him to remove HH by 2026. Also, HH, if he does not want to come out of power, let him do those 3 things. Because I know that is under gunpoint. The evils that are happening in Zambia, regardless whether it is of evil heart, you're supposed to be merciful. I see the wrath of one of the ministers, the member of parliament, who contributed today, shutting off one of the PF leader, saying you are a minister of communication and what and telecommunication. Today you are talking about the network. We cannot get your education because you have failed. Your government did this and now you are bringing even AI, what audios out of wrath. You cannot lead the country, and you cannot silence the truth by pushing your failures to PF, and by even treating the PF as though the 4 years that you have been in power is still PF that is destroying the economy by arresting everyone who associates with PF. You'll never fight God. Do what is right to UPND. I know, I still believe that if you can remove the partnership between the Vatican and UPND, the Declaration of Christian Nation attached to your partnership, then you can be a good government. So now, I want to have time to speak to the opposition leaders today, because the main concerns of the callers that we are calling at calling member, they were more concerned about the unity of the opposition leaders. Emmanuel Mwamba, maybe I've said this, but I may repeat. He knows about this book. I don't know how many times I gave it to his boss. And he knows about the declaration that I make. If I say God has instructed me this, no matter how long it will take, God's word shall come to pass. So if Zambia wants to remove Satanism, wants to remove the false declaration of Christian nation that is actually behind all these assassination of our leaders, they must unite behind Kasonde Mwenda. If you still want to suffer and remain divided, continue with your political parties. In normal circumstances, no country should have more than 20 opposition parties. No country should have, actually, a country must have only 2 opposition parties. Those who think that they want money, because I know most of political leaders, they go for money. It is better you rally behind Kasonde Mwenda, who has an agenda to claim back the mines back to the government. And those political leaders, you must have to be managers of these mines as minister. Each minister must be reporting. This mine is making so much money. This mine is making so much money. This mine is making so much money. In parliament, when you are debating, every day you are giving the figures. We've harvested so much kgs of this and this and this. And your salary can be equal to the president. So that everyone, you lose the appetite of becoming what? President. Because you are going there for money. As a minister of natural resources, agriculture and so forth, have an equal. Ask Hakainde Hichilema how much is getting paid and his allowances. Those are the allowances. In fact, even me, I will tell you that you can double that salary. Because when you are selling gold, you are selling copper, you are selling everything that is here. I understand there's even oil discovered somewhere else. So now, you can be a better person, not just being a political president. That's when you feel that you are there. I'm guiding Zambia because we've lost 6 presidents and we are about to lose the 7th one. Who is Hakainde Hichilema? Hakainde Hichilema, if he does not do these 3 things that I've told him, have no word of assurance. But if he does this, I tell you to say, he's going to live 100 years and above. He'll be the forefather of all the leaders that will be coming and going. All the governors under Ibrahim Traoré. He'll be giving them advice. But if he doesn't want to be respected, let him argue with God's word, because Kaunda was supposed to be alive today. But because he listens to SDA, who came after he made his commitment to protect God's ministry, they told him that I'm a false prophet, I'm so what, and Kaunda started dodging here and there. Then his death was not a timely death. People older than him, the Donald Trump, they are still contesting. They are president, let me say. And they still hope to go for another term if they are given. Joe Biden, people older than him, they just lost the election. If they were voted in, they are going to be there. There are other, the longest serving leaders in Africa, them 7. They are still serving. You're supposed to be there. But because those who wanted to kill me, they knew that Kaunda knows the secret of Freemason, because I discussed these issues several times with him. Let me prove it. Here it is. I think for Kaunda, I'll read from the 2nd volume. This one I was talking to Chiluba. As I've shown you, to say, Chiluba, I told him to say 30 term is not God's blessing. He argued with me. He never believed. His failure to believe, he brought in Manawasa. He brought in the coming of Rupia Banda. Also the coming in of Sata. The coming in of Lungu. It was from this 30 term saga where he robbed UPND. Apart from robbing UPND, they went further to poison the UPND president in order to fight God's plan. So it is up to you, Zambians. If you want to prolong your suffering, fight what I'm telling you. If you want to prolong it, me, I'll wait. I'll live above 100 years. I'll wait. I'll remind you again, the way I'm reminding you here. All the opposition, 20 opposition leaders, if you want to put Kasonde Mwenda, because you don't have a larger part, you equal yourself to say, me, I have so many ministers, members of parliament, so I deserve to become a president of this alliance. I want to tell you to say, don't change the name of the alliance. Don't say alliance, dismantle it. Go for EFF. EFF, it has a badge of identity. The EFF here in South Africa, it is calling for unity. And that EFF is a threat to America. Once you have EFF in Zambia, that is in line with the EFF Julius Malema, you are making a proper arrangement of force. Once America, because the two of you, South Africa and Zambia, you are dancing in the tune of America donor aid. So if as an opposition, you are one opposition in South Africa, one opposition in what? In Zambia of the EFF, you are making a formidable force. Forget about Tonse Alliance, forget about PF, forget about all these other parties that I don't know. I saw that one who came up with Kabaiche. I'm telling you to say, follow what God has revealed. Then Zambia, economically, you shall be independent by 2026. But if you refuse to listen to what I'm saying, Jeremiah was also captured to Babylon in slavery. After warning the kings, they refused. I'll also be captured in the slavery. That is going to be worse than what you are saying now. The West, America, France, UK, they want to get the minerals. If you can listen to what they are discussing, they are saying now it's time that we can give Africa what they want, even to give them more than what they want, so that we can maintain them to ourselves. So right now, when they are giving you to say they have opened the batteries company, they have opened what they are opening, oil refining, those are just smearing face value love. They are not giving you. Those things belong to you. So, as the opposition, listen to what I'm saying. I want Chiluba. He never listened. I want Mwanawasa. He never listened. I want Rupia Banda. He never listened. I want Lungu. He never listened. I want Sata. He never listened. Now I'm warning the last one on the 7th. Hakainde Hichilema, he doesn't want to listen. So even you, if you don't want to listen, you are going for death. Be a president without God's anointment, then you go, you die. Simple. And when the 7th dies, because already 2 graves are waiting, Lungu must be buried here. I don't even support Lungu to be buried in Zambia. I'll support that Lungu be buried here, because the desperation of Hakainde Hichilema regarding Lungu, it gives a lot of question mark. And with the verses that I'm reading of Satanism, that I foretold before I could even see what is happening today, it gives me an understanding that Lungu must be buried in South Africa. And that grave must wait for Hakainde Hichilema, because he has refused the warning. This is what I said on page 32. Paragraph, the first paragraph. In the first 8 unedited copies of this book, 1 to President Chiluba, 1 to former President Kaunda, and the rest copies I gave some to the opposition party leaders, namely UPND President Mazoka, UPND Chairman Mutonga, Heritage Party President Brigadier General Mianda, FDD President General Christon Tembo, and other 2 copies were sold to the public. In these 8 unedited copies, I outlined the understanding of the vision as follows. Groceries represent free food from donor countries based on Amos chapter 4 verse 8. The passage of time is helping me to understand that the vision, yes, I still remain that groceries in the vision stands for the free food. This free food or aid obtained at the expense of our national sovereignty by the MMD government, and it is heard that the Patriotic Front leader went around in Copper Belt from house to house giving free rice. So I was actually propagating according to God that God was against the free food donor aid. Today, donor aid has been cut because the donor aid was a means to blind us to compliance. Today, America is forcing compliance. Zambia is under sanctions. Zambians who are in America, they are being returned. They need to be scrutinized, whether their stay there is legally whatsoever. Where someone says, look, Donald Trump's policy is calling for refugees from South Africa, the Africans, to go to America, while he's chasing other black Americans or the Africans out of America because he wants his own. Then also, they investigated about him. They found that the wife, all the 3 wives that he married, they are all illegal immigrants who were just given citizenship after they stayed 10 years. So now, I want to maintain my point to say, when I'm talking about political leaders, they must look to God. They must listen. When I said to Chiluba, third term is not God's blessing, I gave these copies to the opposition leader, President Anderson Mazoka, UPND Chairman Mutonga, and these others, the Brigadier General Mianda, the FDD President. Unfortunately, I'm not sure whether Christian Tembo is around, but the leader that took after Nawaki passed on. May she rest in peace. I continued to explain on paragraph 2. Let me read just a statement or two. I said many political leaders tend to witchcraft or spiritualism or satanism or occult secret societies like Freemasonry in order to obtain favors from their followers and to maintain their hold to political power or simply for monetary gain. So when I was talking about Freemasonry, it was not something that was practiced in Zambia openly as it is today. Now, why was God concerned? Because what is called globalization, what is called partnership between politics, religion, it produces 3 alliances. That is dragon, a mouth speaking like a dragon. So when you say Zambia is a Christian nation, already Zambia is political, it's a beast. When you say it's a Christian nation, you are actually saying it has 2 horns like a lamb. It has the leadership of the church. But when it speaks like Satan himself, because the dragon represents the Satan. I'm explaining on Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. So now, when I was warning to say many political leaders tend to witchcraft and spiritualism, I know that among the people that are going for presidents, the 20 of them, maybe few have not consulted from witch doctors or false prophets. By consulting from witch doctors and false prophets, you are actually vulnerable to withstand HH, because HH, the Freemasonry, the level of assassination, the level of poisoning leaders against is too high. I mentioned about my arrest here in South Africa and the way I saw things were happening, the way I was visited, even in Kosimapuru, to see that there was a high hand behind my arrest. Even those at Kosimapuru, the prison warders, they were wondering, why are you arrested? Is there trespass that they can keep a person for so long? Trespass, you just have to sleep here only a single day if it's a weekend. The following day you go to the what? To court, and because you are the first offender, you must come out. Then I told them to say, actually, I'm arrested from UN building. UN? They could not believe. My arrest was arranged, well arranged. Big people were involved. And they really wanted to kill me. So the power that protected me from the poison that I ate, knowing that this food was poison, even when I came out, even in Zambia, I've been followed. Poison was administered in my food. I came back, poison continued being. When I could ask water to people that I may trust, they would do, I would just find my stomach is running. Does it mean these people, they're everywhere? But others were giving me water, others were giving me drink. They were just faithful. I know there are few who can be my friends, but I want to say that the good part is that I reached a point where I don't fear to eat poison because I knew that there's a God. I now believe that there's a God. That's why you see me coming at this particular moment. I'm a refugee. I'm not even permitted to speak what I'm speaking. But I'm actually speaking in order to save my country, Zambia, and in order to save Hakainde Hichilema from untimely death. I wouldn't need to see him dying soon, because those who die, they don't know that they are going to die. But when the declaration of death is made attached to your leadership, you must know that if you die within the struggle of your power, the visions are done what? Are fulfilled. So I still want to emphasize that I saw Hakainde Hichilema on the other side, Sata on the other side. There was a big fire in between there, and people were gathered on the round. These two were standing. Me, I was sleeping, listening when they were talking, arguing. Sata said, I'll be president no matter what it takes. Me, I was listening. When I was listening, I also wondered what is it that is happening. But I realized that what was happening is that because I actually said in the interview that I said that after MMD, the party that shall be in power is UPND, and that brought the fight. Right now, as I'm saying, Kasonde Mwenda, I know Kasonde Mwenda, I know I'm putting more fire to him. I'm placing his life in danger, but I'm saying to Kasonde, fear not. The same God that protected me is the same God that shall protect you. I'm not coming home, not because I fear death, but because I have a larger family, 12 children that are not supposed to be subjected to unnecessary things, and also giving chance for these leaders to understand that I'm not there. Because if I was there by the time these other presidents were dying, President Kaunda, President Banda, President Lungu, they are going to say it's me killing them, as they wanted to allude over Sata. Kaunda died whilst I was in prison. So even Hakainde Hichilema, if I can return in case the prophecies fulfilled as I return, they say, hey, he has come, is the one who killed. So God removed me away so that I give chance for them to breathe. Not that I fear death. I don't fear death because my death is permitted by God. So Kasonde Mwenda, don't fear death. You spoke very well to say you'll be there in Zambia and you are ready to die for Zambia. We need people of courage. On that, I want to add, on that, follow your brother, Julius Malema. When he was asked to say, you say that you don't fear death, why are you having bodyguards? He answered and says that I don't want to die like a fool. When God is protecting, he says him used the ancestors or whatever. But he said, To use bodyguard, it's order. Even when I have a gun, I need a bodyguard because I shouldn't die like a fool. I must prepare myself. So, Kasonde Mwenda, have your bodyguards. Have people that are going to protect you. Register your guns to say at least you are armed as you go. Don't even think that when Jesus Christ was in Gethsemane, he was actually having a soldier there by the name Peter, having a weapon. Because by then that weapon, it was a knife. Knife, even the police, when they find you with an unregistered knife, they can arrest you. So that's the reason why I want to emphasize that a Christian nation like Zambia, there are policemen who are carrying guns. I wish if they declared that Christian nations, the soldiers and everyone else was supposed to carry Bibles. But it's a Christian nation that believes not in killing, but they carry guns because they are criminals that do not listen to prayers. They need guns. So I'm asking you to protect yourself, make necessary preparation, because you are the incoming president. And let those who are hearing me share this message to save Zambia from political sabotage of America and the Vatican and the European Union, the EU. They are giving Hakainde Hichilema money to fight corruption, not fighting corruption, but fighting the opposition leaders and corrupting the judges of South Africa to give him the body. We say no to that. I want to believe that this book, when it was written to do what? To help us with the following. Let me read page 34. I said, therefore, the third term could bring death before you, because you are standing between two opinions. You understand? I said the third term will bring death. In this book, please, na Papa Hakainde Hichilema, can you pull this book out of your shelf? Wherever you put it, pull it. Because you might think, everyone else might think that, oh, Mr. Masuka wrote this statement to prove that he prophesied about it. No, I did not write this after the death of Chiluba. They were written before. So, in fact, I'm also surprised that even this statement is here. Because even when I was writing, I can't keep everything in my head. That's why when I'm writing, I just write. Even what I wrote in these books, I don't have all of it in my head. If you ask me to say, what did you write? I'll just say one simple statement. I wrote to say, Hakainde Hichilema, I'm asking if I can return home, if you can protect the ministry of God, and I'm asking you to say you should actually imitate the leadership of Julius Malema so that you are able to retain the minds and so forth. That is the statement that I'll give you. But there's a lot of revelation. You find maybe perhaps I've written too many words warning Hakainde Hichilema from death. And not only Hakainde Hichilema, even the opposition leaders. So now, here, I said, therefore, the third term could bring you death because you are standing between two opinions. Everyone knows that Chiluba died while still fighting to become a president. Everyone knows. He actually wanted to make sure that Sata does not manage to be president, and he made sure that also fighting Manawasa so that he is moved out. The constitution is changed to accommodate him so that he is able to fight his case in court. But all that failed. He died in the Red Sea fighting political battles. In fulfillment of this, I gave him also how many conditions? 2. To save Zambia from, I told him, to save Zambia from total dependence by not quickly selling out the remaining companies as you promised the IMF and the World Bank. In return, they promised you to look forward for a better future in African Union and the New World Order. I actually stopped him from selling the companies. That included the mines. Because by the time Chiluba was leaving power, most of the mines were not sold. So I actually told him not to sell anything that belonged to the company, to the government. The same condition that I've asked you, Hakainde Hichilema, to say retrieve back what was sold. Then your life assurance is there. On the other hand, you profess to be a Christian while breaking the 10 Commandments and join partnership with false churches which practice Satanism and spiritualism. I also warned him, as I've asked you to say, denounce Satanism, which is Freemason, and homosexuality. Denounce it. The keeping of the 10 Commandments, I also gave the same thing to Michael Sata. But Michael Sata declared the keeping of the 10 Commandments without seeking the prayer to anoint him. He failed. He died. Because Catholic, he says, I'm a true Catholic, what, and I'm keeping the 10. Catholic does not keep the 10 Commandments. Catholic removed the second law, which says, thou shalt not make any graven image. The Maria's, graven images, which are placed in the church, and those crucifix, they are all idols, which God does not want us to kneel before them or to worship them. So now, I said it is the supreme purpose of this book to save men from untimely death. Listen to this. It was the purpose, this in 2001, before the death of Mwanawasa. Please get me right. Before the death of who? Mwanawasa. I saw these deaths coming as they are. Before the death, I said it is the purpose of this book to save men. I didn't say one man, but men. How many men have died? Are dead now? 6 presidents. And who is on the risk? The 7th one. It will be complete 7. And the 20 presidents, opposition, you are fighting to go to State House. I think you are you who is fighting to go to State House. I think you have eaten too much, and you don't love your families. Me, I cannot go for presidents when I know that there is death. Because of money, it's better I live and work somewhere and make money, or have my farm and do my farming. At least if I'm able to have my tea, breakfast, and reach 100 years happy with my family, than for me to go and fight. You know how Obama went into power. He was a young man, black hair. Within less than 8 years, the hair changed. There's too much stress. You see, even my white hair, understand, it's sign of wisdom. But this wisdom has come through suffering because of stress, because of being fed with a lot of chemicals, and the writings of the book in order to save men from early death, untimely death, and from taking part in the fulfillment of Bible prophecies, particularly that of joining hands with the Vatican authority to enforce the mark of the beast. Woo! This book, we have We have Hakainde Hichilema here. I think like this, you can see it from a distance. Hakainde Hichilema holding hands with the Pope. And Hakainde Hichilema says, I'll look up to the church for guidance of running national matters. Ah! In fulfillment of this, joining hands with what? With Vatican authority to enforce the mark of the beast. What is the mark of the beast? The union of church and state is what constitutes the mark of the beast. And when it speaks like a what? Like a dragon. When people say, Sunday law is coming, Sunday law is coming, there's no Sunday law. Sunday law is already Sunday. It's already there. Saturday is also part of the Sunday law. Because the true seventh-day Sabbath is not determined by Gregorian calendar. It is determined by the moon calendar. Every new moon, the week restarts. From the first crescent moon to the quarter moon is the Sabbath. The full moon on which day Jesus Christ was in the grave on the 15th day of the month, that was the Sabbath. On the 22nd, the quarter moon is the Sabbath. On the 29th, the last crescent moon is the Sabbath. And the new moon comes in, which is not a day of work. It is not counted on the weekly cycle. Darkness, when the moon does not give light, that day is not a complete day. It's a half day. It's a holiday. Only when the moon is giving 28 moonlights every night, it constitutes 4 weeks and 4 Sabbaths every month. May God bless you for accepting that truth of the Sabbath. I'm still continuing because I want to establish a point. I know I'm supposed to make short videos, but I have a lot. And I only want those who want leadership. Get your time. The time when you are resting, get 1 hour, 30 minutes to listen to what I'm saying. It will help you. Those who have no time to listen to what I'm saying, they are not ready to be leaders. Forget about them. It's not about the numbers of people that are listening to me, but it is who wants to lead the country and by which way you do need to lead the country. So I says that means the mark of the beast. Here I wrote it in the doctrinal way. That means enforcing Sunday, a first day of worship through national constitutions whose declaration is Christian nation. So whenever you meet Sunday, you should add Saturday on top of Sunday. These two, they are not different because they are all first days. So on paragraph 3, I said, passing the appointed time. Why are they vigilant men swept away? They stood not, because the Lord did drive them. He made them to fall. Yes, one fell upon another. And they said, arise, let us go again to our own people, and to the land of our native land. From the oppression swayed, they did cry there, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, is but a noise. He has passed the appointed time. Jeremiah 46, verse 15 to 17. The native land was the promised land. So now, when I'm saying the claiming of natural resources is what is here, you are claiming your land, which has the natural resources. So, Hakainde Hichilema is refusing to declare assets that belong to the government to go back to the government. Kasonde Mwenda has openly declared among all the opposition party, Kasonde Mwenda is the first president who issued a statement that I'll bring back the mines, the ownership of mines. Seconding Michael Sata. That's where, when you get this book, I'll say Kasonde Mwenda is following the footstep of who? Michael Sata. Kasonde Mwenda may take over from who? From Lungu. Because Lungu also tried by rejecting aid based on the condition of homosexuality. He says that if your aid is attached to homosexuality, it means that you don't want to give us aid. So the position of rejecting aid because of the condition of donor funding, let that be the spirit of Kasonde Mwenda. I continued to say, the Lord is the one who drives the boat. No man can change his course. For you to go for a third term, even through Manawasa, you would have passed your appointed time. Why can't you learn from what happened to Pharaoh? To be sure of your position in this country, Mr. President Chiluba, you are a noise, and I urge you to listen to the voice of the Lord, which says no third term. This statement cannot be proved from the very unedited first copy to State House and to Dr. Kenneth Kaunda at the eve of the third term call penned down in April 2001. This was the major reason that made me to give out copies that were not edited to those who needed warning from the revelation of visions. So you have used your time appointed by God for taking Zambia back to slavery through privatization and by signing for a new world order or globalization. When time came for Pharaoh to let Israel go, he followed and he perished in the Red Sea. And the time has come for you to let MMD go and serve the Lord. For because thou Chiluba, now I was quoting Jeremiah 48 verse 7, 8 and 10. For thou Chiluba has trusted in thy works and in thy treasures. Thou hast taken, and Chemosh, that is Zambia, shall go forth into captivity with his priest and princess together. And the spoiler, that means church, shall come upon every seat, and no seat shall escape. You see, the Catholic Church has come upon every city. They are controlling almost every country in Africa. In Europe, is the Catholic Church in control. No one shall escape. The valley also shall perish, and the plain shall be destroyed, as the Lord has spoken. Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceptively, and cursed be that keepeth back his sword from the blood. Jeremiah 48, verse 7, 8, and 10. Look at these opposition leaders. More especially Kasonde Mwenda. Here the Lord says, cursed be the one that doeth the work of the Lord deceptively. Don't lie to God that you are going to return the companies over your dead body. Return the land to people. Return the mines to the government. That you would have done God's work. You don't need to be pastor in politics, and you don't need to join church and politics. If you are a politician, you fear God, you work as a politician, period. Not that because the pastor or is a president, then the church also becomes part of the politics. Church must have a thin line difference. Church must feed the people spiritually. Politics must feed people economically under the fear of God. That's the difference. Remember the former things of old, Isaiah chapter 45, verse 9, verse 10, because I declare them before they spring forth. So when God declare things before they what? They spring forth. Then I said, learn from the mistakes made by Pharaoh. So I'm urging the opposition leaders to learn from the mistakes of refusing to learn to do God's will from Chiluba. Let me say from Kaunda, Chiluba, Rupia, Manawasa, Rupia Banda, Sata, Lungu, and now Hakainde Hichilema. After allowing Israel to go and worship their God in the plain, he followed them and he perished in the what? In the Red Sea. Exodus chapter 8, verse 8, chapter 9, verse 34 to 36, chapter 12, verse 29 to 32, chapter 14, verse 5 to 31. It gives you the what? The children of Israel, the way they left Egypt. What should I do? Should I keep quiet? Or you are still listening? I want to prove that I'm not talking to you because I just want to talk to you. I'm talking to you because God is not happy with what is happening. In this volume 2, Criminal Trespass, which I published 2008, this book, the cover is somehow eaten, but you are able to see. Those who received this copy, they will easily identify it. I said, exposing Satan's weapon. So when I'm appealing to Hakainde Hichilema to say, Hakainde Hichilema, can you do what? Can you apologize? Apologize, apologize, apologize to people when you are wrong. Accept that, yes, the audio that linked was true. Even accept, as did Mazoka, when I confronted Mazoka by this revelation, he confessed to say, I was in Freemason, white Mason, it was not dangerous, and so forth, because he listened to what I told him. And they killed him because of that confession. So for you, before you confess, receive a prayer, a life-changing prayer. Even if you are surrounded by those 200 CIA, can you do what? Can you be a person that is going to do what? To be able to confess. When you confess, when you confess, yes, when you confess that Hakainde Hichilema, I've been involved in Freemason, I've been involved in Satanism, I've been used to sell the companies by Chiluba, and I'm still used by the Anglo-American or America to still continue privatizing the companies. That will actually give you the right to live, because right away there are people who can support you. There are people who can defend you. Ibrahim Traoré is there to defend you. Russia is not a colonial master. Russia will actually give you support and protection because all what Russia is promoting is Africa must have a free trade of its natural resources. So now, this confession is the confession that I was expecting from Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. And I wrote in this book, again, chapter 4, when I was writing, I said, exposing Satan's weapon. Then I said, it is the supreme purpose of the rescue operation team to rescue world leaders and the citizens from worshipping the devil and to expose the Satanism that has rocked the political world and the church. So now, I was actually saying about this Satanism, when I say you are a Freemason, Hakainde Hichilema, I want you to confess, to say I'm not a Freemason. When I say you are in Satanism, I want you to confess that I'm not in that. The way you said that, oh, there's no witchcraft. That, to me, your face told me to say, no. This person is just buying confidence from people that there's no witchcraft. Witchcraft is there. If there's no witchcraft, why are you fearing to stay in State House? Go to State House and stay there. Lungu and all other presidents, they were calling sangomas, which we call vanganga, to go and cleanse that State House. But whatever they did, it could not help them. Even now, I heard that one of the bodyguard from Beijing, which I was just reading to say is a mistress, is a mysterious bodyguard who they don't know what position is holding, who is not even accounted among the government officials that are surrounding you, that he has gone blind. It is because of our prayers. Just to prove to you, to say the CIA did not work where prayer is concerned. So I told this to President Kaunda. Let me read this. To Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, this subject attacked his faith in the white handkerchief that is believed to be the source of protection. The same was obtained from under the Indian Ocean. I talked about the handkerchief. When Kaunda was talking to me, you could put the handkerchief there. He never greeted me with his hand, with the handkerchief. He would put the handkerchief down and he greets me. And I saw him putting a handkerchief on top of your head. I said, no. On one of those photos I saw on social media. And I shared that post. But I want to tell you that that handkerchief, there are a lot of stories that we had in Kanyama there. It turned into a bed. And he stopped addressing the meeting because he had a lot of those handkerchiefs with him. It was not only one. So I want to tell you to say witchcraft can finish at one point or another if you meet someone who is more clever than you. Because wherever you take witchcraft, that one who gives you, he has others that surpasses him. And even if they don't surpass him, he also wants money more than the money that you have offered him. I said this stud was my last rescue operation message on the 8th July 2002 with Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. From 1999 to 2002, I was being called by Dr. Kenneth Kaunda to pray for him whenever he's going out. So, and it was the most challenging one to me and to Dr. Kenneth Kaunda as it raised his emotions, more especially when I read one of the newspapers that linked him and the late Mazoka to be cult members. This was in an effort to rescue him from the strings of Satanism, as it is very possible that every leader or president that seeks protection from the cult in order to prolong their stay in the realms of power. Then I went further to say, occultism is the weapon the devil has continued to use against God's authority to appoint who to rule at his appointed time. Daniel answered and said, this is Daniel was answering to Nebuchadnezzar, who was threatened by the vision. which he had forgotten. So if your throne is threatened by what I'm talking or what I'm revealing to you, you must seek the wisdom from God. He says, blessed is the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changes the times and seasons. He removes the kings and raises up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. He reveals deep and secret things. He knows what is in the darkness. Daniel chapter 2, verse 20 to 22. So this God that I'm talking about, he has power to remove kings, and he has power to put kings. So when I'm saying that I've been appointed by God to anoint so that this death row should not continue, I'm not just declaring it because I want recognition, as most of the people, they are trying to say. I don't want recognition. If you want, remain dying. I'll be watching. But my appeal is for you, Hakainde Hichilema, to do those three things. Denounce Freemason, denounce homosexuality, call for Ibrahim Traore's leadership by returning the natural resources back to government, the transport system back to government, everything. Nakambala Sugar Company, that is under Queen Elizabeth, bring back to government. And I want to tell you to say, once you do that, there will be no poverty in Zambia. We'll be waiting for Jesus Christ as we suffer any other persecution. But hunger must not be the first weapon that would lead us to sell our birthright as Christians. So God changes kings. As I said, the ministry of Jeremiah was given to me in order for me to plant down. So right now, I'm not a politician. When I'm saying, HH, you must not go for 2016, for 2026 elections, it's the same way I told Chiluba to say, don't go for third term. Chiluba used his Mngalato. He went for a third term through Levi Manawasa. MMD was still leading. He went through Mingalato, through SATA. MMD was still leading because those are MMD materials. In the same way with Belshazzar and Nebuchadnezzar, the kingdom kept on being extended in opposing Daniel. I was reading page 37. Now I'm reading page 39, last paragraph. I said, this copy is the last means to rescue our first family from the tag of Satanism and to bring them to Christ. The first family, it was Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, who is ready to wash them from their past errors. He bid us, come unto me, says the Lord. He called the most wicked man ever lived, King Manasseh, who even chopped into pieces Isaiah the prophet for revealing his criminal acts of Satan worship. He used to sacrifice his children in order to prolong his stay in the realm of power. And his acts are written in the first volume of this book, The Rescue Operation Airport Trap. I want to say that this was in a bid to call Kaunda, who had run away since 2002. Even when I met him, 2006, still, he could not give me the chance that I deserved. Even when I met to him, 2007, 8, somewhere there, still, he could not give me the attention, the one that he used to give me. So I said, you are my beloved Father who kept me when I was in dire need, paid my rentals, clothed me and my family when I was looking miserable. You bought me a first ever cell phone in order to communicate to me. When your gate men blocked me, that was my means to call you, and that worked successfully. But today, your phone numbers have been changed. This book is the only means God has used to reach you and others who may find themselves rather in the same or similar predicament. I don't pretend. The time when Dr. Kenneth Kaunda met me, I was actually coming from fasting in the bush. Why? Because I was running away from telling him the truth, and God made my life so miserable. And by giving me transport money, it was enough money for me to do what? To change one or two things. And eventually bought me the first cell phone ever. And when I had that first cell phone, that was early 1999, late 1999, in order for me to communicate to him. And because I was being blocked by the Kalungombes, Sunday, they were blocking me to see him, searching me like a criminal, accusing me of, oh, say maybe you can kill the president. I've passed through thin and thin, thin and thick. Perhaps I may read 43 and 45 as my last quote. I said, what is spiritualism? In this chapter 5, it is also known as the New Age movement of spiritualism in all churches and in all aspects of society. I saw 3 unclean spirits like flog, political doctrine, coming out of the mouth of the dragon, that is Satan himself, and out of the mouth of the beast, that is America, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, that is the papas. So now, for they are spirits of devils, that is Satanism, working a miracle, wonders done without keeping of the 10 Commandments, which goeth forth unto the kings, that is presidents today, and of the earth globalization, that is Revelation chapter 16, 3 to 14. These unclean spirits, 3 unclean spirits, coming out of the mouth of the dragon. You remember Revelation chapter 11, chapter 13, verse 11, it talks about the beast that has 2 horns and speaks like the dragon. So this partnership is what is being described here, which is the dragon when it speaks, Satanism. Mouth of the beast, that is political power. This is America, and America is what adopted Zambia. Zambia is replaced America because the Christian nation is what is Zambia. America is not a Christian nation. It separates state and what? And religion. Its constitution. By the constitution of Zambia qualifies to be this beast. And out of the mouth of the false prophets, that means this is where the lamb-like beast comes in. The 2 horns like a lamb is represented in this text as a false what? Prophet. So when Vatican declares Zambia as a Christian nation, it is actually a false prophet. A church is led by prophets. For they are spirit of the devils. These spirits that whenever you meet the church and politics, you are actually working for the devil, nothing else. So we need to accept that. The aim of this alliance of Satan, papas, and apostate Protestantism, or the false prophets, is to deceive the leaders of the nation and the people to worship the devil. This scheme will use secular power and the ecclesiastical power of Antichrist would combine to send their several instruments furnished with the Christian nation malice, with worldly police, and with religious falsehood and deceit. And these would muster up the devil's forces for a decisive global peace pact against God's word. They shall simply lead the world to worship Satan in fulfillment of Bible prophecy. The modern threefold political multi-party movement is the frog that crushed Dr. Lev Patrick Manawasa at the African Union Summit in Egypt in fulfillment of the vision. Before Manawasa left the summit in Egypt, he officiated at the Catholic Bishops' Conference in Lusaka as a sign of allegiance to this political alliance against President Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe, land issue, and elections. I'm done. I want to say, let's pray to God that as politicians, you have heard what I've just read. The evil spirit, when you see homosexuality, becomes something that is spoken, and the dressing standard in the church of SDA also speaks a lot of volumes. People who did not paint their fingers, who did not paint their lips, who did not put on earrings, who did not put on what I call human hair, New Age movement, they are putting. And those who never put on trousers, I saw first with the late Matandiko's wife putting on a trousers, who was the president of Union, Zambia Union of Adventism, which is a conference today. I realized that the church has fallen. And as I spoke in yesterday's video to say, the condoms that are being picked in every camp meeting, they are not going for worship. They are going to exchange their wives. As long as you see a different face, you think you are a man enough. But when you are with your wife, you think you are not a man enough. You go for young children, prostitution. The prohibition has closed the SDA. The mark of the beast already has been announced. The only thing that makes the mark of the beast visible is when a messenger of God announces it to your ears, because this thing catches us unaware. The mark of the beast has been there since Sunday worship, which you believe to say is the one that is coming. Since Saturday worship, that was the mark of the beast instituted. Now, because we are in ignorance, God could not punish us for our ignorance. But now that we know, with the announcement, the sign that we are given, the partnership with Hakainde Hichilema, Seventh-day Elder, and the Catholic, it makes the beginning of the knowledge that the mark of the beast is in place. I said this in 2001 when I was called at Central Church, organized by Elder James Banda of Central Church. You can ask him and those who were there. I said that I have no good news for UPND, because UPND shall bring the mark of the beast. So what kind of a mark of the beast do you want? When you see Hakainde Hichilema saying to the Pope, His Holiness, Holy Father, I'll look up to Roman Catholic Church for guidance on national matters. What do you want again? Which revelation do you want to tell you that the mark of the beast is active? If you see the way Hakainde Hichilema is killing, the Bible in the same Revelation chapter 13 has outlined that they shall kill you if you do not give allegiance to its mark. So it is my prayer that the opposition must not rush for a position of being president. If I was stopping you and offering myself to be the candidate, you are going to say that I'm just threatening you so that I can create my what? My opportunity. I was going to have that opportunity starting from the time when I warned Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. By now, I was going to be very active in politics. But there is a need for me to lead a church reformation that is separate from the church. I want God to help Zambia through Kasonde Mwenda, the EFF, and to help South Africa through Julius Malema to reform towards one Africa. I'm urging Hakainde Hichilema to withdraw the case in the High Court in South Africa. It's a shame over the allegation of what? Of corruption, and allow the widow to bury according to his wishes, according to her wish. If you agree to say the body must, you want to officiate the funeral, let them bring the body in Zambia so that at least you might not sleep with an open grave. But if you still want to officiate, let them bury in South Africa. Opposition leaders, I'm appealing to you to say, if you want to seek God, ask me. I'll show you all evidences that all these leaders have rejected warning. So if the 20 of you refuse this warning to say, can you kindly rally behind Kasonde Mwenda? Don't look down to Kasonde Mwenda that he won't manage to lead you. He will lead you. The way Isaiah appointed David when the battle was fierce. Isaiah, is it Samuel, went to search for David and anointed him when he was not considered to be anyone. He was in the bush herding sheep, fighting with lions. He became the one to rescue Israel. So right now I'm saying Hakainde Hichilema must be defeated to save him from early death, to save him from the capture that America is holding him. He cannot speak anything of his own. Whatever he says, they write for him. That's why they produced the AI, so that it can be writing for people who don't know what to speak, because people fear to speak what they are told. So now when they are caught up with audios, they stand to run away from the truth and say that it's AI. Even the vice president, it's AI. Who can be told lies? Stop lying to people. The government will always lie to maintain, hold it to power. But this power, you are holding it, facing death. May God bless you. Amen.